Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Tom, and with me as always is my amazing co-host Kate. Today we're talking about something that confuses a lot of English learners, even advanced ones, and that is the difference between would and used to.
Hi everyone, Kate here. And yes, this topic is surprisingly tricky. If you've ever wondered things like, can I say, when I was a child I would play football every day? Or can I say, I would live in London? Then today's episode is exactly for you.
We're going to explain everything in a relaxed, conversational way. No complicated grammar lectures, no scary textbooks, just clear explanations, funny examples, and a few embarrassing stories from our past.
Especially from Tom's past.
Hey, I object already.
Don't worry, Tom. It's for educational purposes.
Right, educational embarrassment. Before we start, quick reminder, if you enjoy this podcast and it helps your English, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future episodes.
Exactly. It really helps the podcast grow, and it helps other learners find us too. All right, Tom, let's start with the big picture. What do would and used to actually have in common?
Great question. Both would and used to can talk about past habits in the past, things that happened regularly before but usually don't happen now.
Right. For example, I used to play video games every day.
Or, when I was a kid, I would play video games every day.
In this case, both sentences mean almost the same thing.
Exactly. They both describe a past habit, something you did again and again in the past.
But, and this is the important part, they are not always interchangeable. There are some rules and patterns you need to know.
Let's start with the easiest one. Used to can talk about past habits and past states.
Yes, states are things like being, living, knowing, liking, owning, situations rather than actions.
For example, I used to live in Spain.
Or, she used to be very shy.
Or my personal favorite, I used to have hair.
Tom still has hair.
Thank you for that support.
But here's the important rule. We usually cannot use would for past states.
Exactly. You wouldn't normally say, I would live in Spain.
That sounds strange. Instead, you say, I used to live in Spain.
Same with, I used to know her.
You cannot say, I would know her.
Unless you're in some strange philosophical movie.
Yes, like, in another life, I would know her.
That sounds dramatic.
So rule number 1, use used to for past states, not would.
Perfect. Now let's talk about past habits, where both forms can work.
For example, when I was a teenager, I used to stay up very late.
Or, when I was a teenager, I would stay up very late.
Both are correct.
But there's a small difference in style. Would often appears in stories or descriptions of the past.
Yes, it's very common when someone is telling a memory.
For example, every summer my family would go to the same little village by the sea.
That sounds like the beginning of a novel.
Exactly. Would can feel a bit more narrative.
Let's make a small story example.
Okay, when I was a kid, my grandfather had a farm. Every morning we would wake up early, drink tea in the kitchen, and then we would go outside to feed the animals.
And Tom would complain the entire time.
That part is also true.
But notice something important. Usually before using would, we introduce the past time first.
Right, like when I was a child.
Back in high school.
Every summer.
After we establish the past situation, we can use would to describe repeated actions.
That's a really useful tip for learners.
Now let's talk about something that confuses many students, negative forms.
Yes.
With used to, negatives are very common.
For example, I didn't used to like coffee.
Which is shocking.
I know. Now I drink approximately 47 cups a day.
Same.
Another example, she didn't used to exercise much.
But now she runs marathons.
With would, negatives for habits are less common.
Yes, you can say things like, he wouldn't listen to anyone.
But that often sounds more like refusal than habit.
Exactly. For example, when we tried to help him, he wouldn't listen.
That feels like stubborn behavior.
So if you simply want to say something was not a habit in the past, didn't used to is usually the safest choice.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about questions, because students ask about this a lot.
With used to, questions look like this. Did you used to play any sports?
Notice something interesting. In the question, we say use, not used.
Right, because did already shows the past.
English grammar loves to play these little tricks.
Another example, did she used to live here?
Very natural question.
Questions with would for past habits are much less common.
Yes, we normally don't ask, would you play outside every day?
That sounds like we're asking about a hypothetical situation.
Exactly. So again, used to is more flexible for questions and negatives.
Let's do a quick comparison.
Sentence 1, I used to drink soda every day.
Sentence 2, when I was in college, I would drink soda every day.
Both correct.
But now let's try with a state.
I used to love cartoons.
You cannot say, I would love cartoons.
Because love is a state.
Exactly.
Unless you're talking about the future, like I would love that.
English is fun, right?
Fun and slightly chaotic.
Now let's share some childhood habits using both forms.
Good idea.
When I was a kid, I used to collect dinosaur toys.
I believe that.
I had hundreds.
Hundreds.
Okay, maybe dozens.
When I was a kid, I used to read under the blanket with a flashlight.
Classic.
My parents would tell me to sleep, but I would secretly read until midnight.
Rebel.
Dangerous lifestyle.
When I visited my grandparents, my grandmother would bake cookies every Sunday.
That sounds amazing.
And I would eat them very responsibly.
Meaning?
All of them.
Of course.
Let's also talk about a common mistake.
Oh, yes.
Some learners say, I am used to play tennis.
That's incorrect.
Right, because be used to is a completely different structure.
For example, I am used to waking up early.
Notice the ing form.
But that's a topic for another episode.
Exactly. Otherwise, this podcast will become a grammar marathon.
And Tom might fall asleep.
I would never fall asleep during grammar.
Okay, that is historically accurate. Now let's give listeners a small exercise.
Good idea.
I'll say a sentence idea, and Tom will choose used to or would.
Pressure.
Situation 1, past state, living in Paris.
I used to live in Paris.
Correct.
Easy.
Situation 2, repeated childhood action, visiting grandma every Sunday.
Every Sunday, we would visit our grandma.
Also correct.
I'm unstoppable.
Situation 3, liking broccoli as a child.
I used to like broccoli.
Yes.
Although emotionally, that is difficult.
Situation 4, summer camping trips every year.
Every summer, we would go camping.
Perfect.
I feel like I passed the grammar exam.
You did.
Do I get a certificate?
You get respect from our listeners.
That's even better.
Speaking of listeners, quick reminder, if you're enjoying this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave a like, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new episode.
We release episodes regularly about English learning, vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and sometimes strange stories from our lives.
Mostly strange stories.
Hey, educational strange stories.
Exactly.
Let's finish with a longer memory story using would.
Okay.
When I was about 10 years old, my friends and I would meet after school in the park. We would bring our bikes and we would race around the paths like professional cyclists.
Were you actually fast?
No, but we believed we were.
Confidence is important.
After racing, we would sit on the grass, drink soda, and talk about video games for hours.
That sounds like a perfect childhood afternoon.
It really was.
I have a similar memory. When I was younger, my family used to go to a small lake every summer. In the mornings, the water was very calm. My dad would wake us up early and we would go swimming before breakfast.
That sounds peaceful.
It was. Then later in the day, we would rent a little boat and explore the lake.
I love how storytelling naturally uses would.
Exactly. That's one of the best ways to remember the structure.
If you're telling a story about the past and describing repeated actions, would often sounds very natural.
But if you're describing past situations, states, or general life changes, used to is usually better.
Perfect summary.
And with that, we're reaching the end of today's episode.
We hope this conversation helped you finally understand the difference between would and used to.
Remember the key ideas. Used to works for past habits and past states, while would is mostly used for repeated past actions, especially in storytelling.
Practice by thinking about your childhood habits.
What did you used to do?
What games would you play?
What food did you used to love?
Write a few sentences or even a short story.
And if you enjoyed this episode, again, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified when our next episode comes out.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.